Oh my god, I was muted and I was saying hello to everybody. I didn't even know I was muted. Like I had my mic unmuted, but I didn't have the thing muted. Thank you, Jen. Hey, K Braze. Hey, Crystal Ann. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Pecan. No rush mail. Hey, Linda. Hey, Tony. Hey, Amanda. Oh my goodness. Hey, Avery. Yeah, I was talking. Well, so my mic has a little button where I just tap it if I want to mute. And then my screen has mute, and I didn't realize they were both on. Usually I just tap my mic. So my mic was lit up, so I'm like talking, thinking everybody can hear me. Um, so if y'all haven't heard about these documents, which you probably have because they've been around for a couple days, I am slacking. It was my son's birthday last week, and I don't know. I just started babysitting my niece again, and I'm just all over the place. So I've been slacking, but I'm getting back to it. School just started, and I feel like school crams everything in the beginning of the year. Like, bam, picture day, bam, book fair. Like, do everything at the beginning of the year. But these documents are insane. I don't even know, like, yeah, life's a trip currently. I feel you on that. I do. um, so I read through them yesterday while I was babysitting, and my mind was just blown. And I will say, it's compelling. It's very compelling. It was a Frank's motion where they basically lay out all the evidence they have uh, to what they believe is what happened. And hell, it is. They made a great argument, and I looked into it myself just to see, and they're not lying. But like, um, so I'm gonna pull them out and actually like read some parts. But to break it down short for you guys before I start, basically they explained the crime scene in detail. Hey, Nora's grandma, which is it was like ritualistic. It's very triggering and it's very like I it was worse than I ever imagined. Um they were brutally murdered and posed with sticks and stuff like that that suggested Odinism, which is hey Kate the Great, which is like a religion. Yeah, the rune on the tree. It was awful. Um, it's basically kind of like they worship the god Odin, like the Norse god Odin, and there's these like runes that represent different things, and they do these like sacrifices, I guess. I didn't I mean, I assume people don't usually do them with humans, but they collect sticks and create shapes out of the sticks that match these runes, and okay, they can be used for ritual magic. Yeah, I don't know much about it other than what I read, but I did look into, so they name drop a couple names, and I did look into those people, and they did have a very big fascination with this religion and the runes and the symbols and all that. And I will read the crime scene like in detail. But Uh, they basically think that okay, so this guy, I think his name was Brad. I could be wrong. It's something with a B, Brad Holder or something like that. His son was dating Abby. He is in this religious community. His best friend, Patrick Westfall, lives in Delphi. Brad lives in like Logansport, and he would go visit Patrick on the weekends, and they would go in the woods and do these rituals. Hey, good egg. So they go and do rituals in the woods, and so there's a connection there with Abby. Um, and they recruited some other people, and they had a specific recruitment guy who recruited some people in there. And there was this specific guy named Elvis who confessed to his sister that he took part in it. And he specifically told his sister that he used sticks to put like horns on top of Abby's head because she was a troublemaker. And it is true, but they had no knowledge of the crime scene. Like they didn't tell anybody about the crime scene. The sister didn't know about the crime scene, and he just happened to know that. Hey Heather, hey butterfly kisses. So yeah, it's pretty like there's a lot of things that are pretty damning in my opinion. So let me pull um these oh, pull these documents up. Now it's a lot, so I'm not going to be able to like go over a whole thing, but I will make sure that I go over super important parts that I feel like should be shared. Um all right, I think this is probably important to read some of this. So, um they're saying overwhelming evidence supports members of a pagan Norse religion called Odinism, hijacked by white nationalists, ritualistically sacrifice Abigail Williams in Liberty, German. Very early on, those in charge of the Delphi murder investigation claimed that they consulted with a Purdue professor concerning what resembled possible Odinism signatures left behind at the crime scene. After the Purdue professor proclaimed, according to State Trooper Jerry Holman, that it was not Odinism or any type of cult worshipping or any type of group that would have conducted the crime, the Odinism angle was essentially abandoned. However, as of September 7th, 2023, the leaders of the Delphi investigation team, 1, claim that they can't identify who this purported professor was, 2, have provided no reports from this purported professor, and 3, have further indicated they may never be able to figure out who this professor is, based in large part upon this mystery, Purdue professor's opinion. The Delphi investigative leadership claimed that it essentially abandoned considering Odinite involvement in the murders, and then the years passed till 2022. Thankfully, during these passing years, law enforcement officers Kevin Murphy, Greg Ferenczi, and Todd Click continued to pursue the truth. Because of their curiosity and investigative efforts, the evidence established the names of the likely murdering members of this Odinite cult became known to the Delphi investigative leadership no later than February 2018. Hey B&B, you went to Purdue. Oh wow. Hey Princess. Oh, I said hi. Oh no, never mind. It wasn't you. Hey Princess Megan Elsa. For some reason I thought you were already in here, but it wasn't you. Due to either incompetence or concerted intentionality, those in charge of the investigation refused to arrest or even properly investigate these obvious suspects. Um, hold on. Okay, so they found that Richard Allen's affidavit pointing the finger at Richard Allen was far less compelling than the totality of the information that Ferenczi, Detective Murphy, and Click had accumulated during the Rushville portion of the investigation. That information that Murphy, Ferenczi, and Click had gathered during their investigation connected men who practiced Odinism in or near Delphi with another group of men who lived in Rushville, and they connected both groups of men to the murders. Click was concerned that for some reason the leadership of the investigative team had failed to share with prosecutor McClellan the evidence gathered by Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy. Click's concerns led him to seek out a lawyer to assist him in the drafting of a letter. This letter was sent to McClellan. The letter was not provided to the defense until after it was obvious from the last round of depositions that the defense, who had doggedly pursued witnesses as far away as Georgia, would certainly be talking with Todd Click. McClellan had this letter in his possession for over 4 months before turning it over to the defense. There can be no mistaking that this letter is exculpatory in nature and could have been used by the defense as it prepared for upcoming depositions. Which I agree with that, because I feel like this is absolutely information that could shed light on Richard Allen's innocence. I don't know whether they intentionally didn't send it over or they were taking a while to get things together, because I guess sometimes that happens, but it is absolutely exculpatory in my opinion. However, it is apparent that McClellan only offered up the letter after it was obvious that the defense team would soon be learning of the letter's existence. In other words, the defense team would obviously be meeting up with or deposing Click in the next few weeks. Okay. So they knew that they were going to be deposing Click and that Click would mention it, so they had to hand over this letter. Okay. Click's report landed at Ground Zero, a prosecutor's office with no more than 2 full-time prosecutors and a handful of full-time staff members at best. Could this exculpatory evidence have been completely overlooked? Not plausible. According to the summary of Click's investigation, he attached with his letter, the behavioral analyst unit of the FBI determined that the individuals responsible for the homicides were involved in Nordic beliefs. This was news to the defense, as no member of the Unified Command in charge of the investigation revealed this information to the defense during recent depositions. This includes Trooper Holman, who told the defense that he didn't remember if the FBI's BAU unit covering or unit concerning involvement of the Odinists in the murders, none. The letter that Click sent to McClellan was the first that the defense has heard that the FBI actually believed that Odinists were likely involved. In other words, this report contained exculpatory evidence that the Unified Command concealed from the defense. Hey Tia, hey Merp, which I agree with this too. So, in a nutshell, this fell in their lap. It finally got turned over because they were about to depose Click, who was part of that investigation, and he would have told them about it. So, sorry if you hear Dave yelling in the background. Let's see. Richard Allen has 0 connections to any pagan cult or pagan cultists, and furthermore, hey Mel, how are
Hey.
you? Oh, hold on, let me put on my headphones. Okay.
If you can tell, I'm running around.
I feel you. Well, I haven't been running. This is a Frank's motion. So, that and a memo attached with it. I believe that's exactly what, like, how they, what it was specifically. All right. Let me see. All right, I guess I'll go over the Odinism thing too a little bit. Basically they worship the Viking Nordic culture and the gods, specifically Odin, and like Tyr, the one guy's name is like Tyr. He was like similar to Odin in a way before, like he was a very popular god to the Vikings. And then there were these runes that were obvious signatures left behind at the crime scene. They were formed with sticks and fashioned with tree branches and painted using the blood of Liberty German. The sticks and tree branches were deliberately and carefully and proficiently placed on each girl in a certain arrangement, mimicking the runes. At least one of the branches had the end cut off by some type of like saw, like it was a clean cut. Odin is like Zeus, but in Nordic culture.
Like, I've heard of Odin,
Yeah. So
but
like
not the religiousness behind it.
I yeah, I didn't know there was a whole religion that like worshipped him, but there is like the Roman it's Rome, right? Greeks who worship Zeus. Like Odin is like the Zeus of the Viking
Oh,
culture.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Like that's the only way I feel like I could compare it. I only know this because I I play video games and I play God of War. And all the
I love that.
video games have to do with different cultures. And I also play what's it called? Assassin's Creed, which kind of does similar things too. So that's how I
Right.
know the gods, but I didn't know much about the religion.
Hmm.
But the runes are used as like, to do sacrifices and magic and stuff like that. So they're saying that because they found this particular branch that had the end clean cut off, that they believe it was done with a saw and taken like specifically taken there and preconceived. And it gets interesting, which I will explain further down the saw thing, because there is a picture of the one guy making runes. He posted on Facebook making runes, and he was cutting the end of a branch with a saw, and he it like goes. That's the guy they're accusing. Like he was literally making runes out of tree branches at his house and using a saw to cut the ends off real fancy. So
I
I
saw
found
that,
that
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Okay. So let me see. So they seem to quickly abandon the correlation, and kind of fail to pursue the links. Um, all right, here's where the connection to Abby and Libby comes in. Law enforcement's failure to actively pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is confounding. It is even more confounding when the days and weeks after the murders, a particular Odinite from Logansport named Brad Holder posted on social media images mimicking the very runes found at the crime scene. A crime scene unreleased and unknown to the general public even to this day. Who is Brad Holder? He was an Odinite whose son, Logan, had been dating Abby at the time of her death. Like, literally at the time of her death, he was her boyfriend. Um, Brad Holder's social media post seemingly taunted the very police that refused to fully investigate him. The defense believes that the court will be shocked at the number of clues or Easter eggs, both before and after the murders, that Holden openly posted on his Facebook page that pointed the finger to his involvement in the murders. And I did go and check this out, and it's there on his page.
So do
So
people think that he's, like, openly taunting them then? Being like, "I."
I it seems so because he drew a photo. He drew a picture of a rune on his hand. Like it looked like a little, you know how people get them small little tattoos. It was like
Yeah.
about the size of that, and he posted it on Facebook, and it was the same exact symbol that was found on the tree in blood.
Oh. And
Yeah.
we know for sure that it was found on the tree, like, that's not just a rumor.
Not a rumor, as a fact.
Okay.
They have the evidence from the crime scene because they were given the discovery.
Right, okay.
So they were able to compare it, which they go over everything, which, we can read and go through each thing. But um he was pretty much cleared pretty early on because they looked into his job and he was supposedly working that day, but they didn't actually go to his work and like interview people asking if they seen him that day. So they're like, well, what if he went there and left early and had someone clock him out or something, Like they didn't really um prosecution is saying it's a handprint. And I mean, I don't know, like the picture I saw on his hand I don't know how that could be misconstrued if it looked like exactly like that. I don't know how it can be misconstrued for a handprint, but I mean, maybe. Um, but I still think that the branches even like they explain that the branches were in shapes of symbols that are on the runes. So they clear him on March 16th, 2017, which is like a month later, because he was supposedly at work.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is
go for it.
this something that is common in this area, this Odinism? Because something to this extreme where they're killing two young girls in a ritualistic way, you'd think it wouldn't be the first or the last, or at least that there would be
Yeah,
some type of like up to that point or things
something
up to
else.
that. Yeah, like something that would be somewhat like why that day, that time, those girls, like I guess for me, I'm just like, it'd be crazy to me if nothing else came up and all of a sudden it was this and it's never happened again or anything like that.
I was wondering that too. I'm like, wow, I'm shocked that this is like the first thing I heard. But like maybe they started with like animals or something and then they just like took it too seriously. I don't know. But apparently it is
Right.
common in that area. Lori says it's common.
Because even when you find animals, I mean, even like when you go back to like the Idaho case, like we heard about Buddy in the Idaho case, which was the dog that was skinned or
That was
whatever.
skinned. Yeah.
And so,
Yep.
like, even though we probably wouldn't have heard about that without the Idaho 4 case happening, you'd think that people would go back and be like, "Oh, these 2 girls were killed in this way. Month before that, I found a cat, or 2 months after that, I found a dog." You know what I mean? Like, you'd
Yeah.
think that
Well,
it'd be like,
maybe that's something to look into. Like maybe
yeah,
you know how some cases just get traction and some don't? Like maybe
yeah,
there is stuff we don't know about. So that's a good point. That's something to look into. Maybe there
yeah,
is some other cases that are unsolved that are a little strange that could um fall under this, you know?
yeah,
I wouldn't shock me.
yeah. Interesting. Hmm,
Uh where was I? The
sorry.
runes have been left at the crime scene. I think I'm gonna skip all this. Oh wait, who is Ryan? Give me a second.
No, you're good. Yeah, because my other
Okay,
question
here
would
we go.
be oh, go ahead.
Okay, so there was a guy named Ryan Boucher. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. He found disturbing images on Brad Holder's social media. Having somehow learned that Brad Holder's son Logan had dated Abby Williams, Mr. Boucher began reviewing Brad Holder's social media history. One of the images Boucher viewed on Brad Holder's social media account was an image of two women, either dead or posed as if they were dead, on the ground in what appeared to be a forest. Both women had tree limbs and sticks arranged on their bodies. One of the women had her arm stretched out above her head, similar to the way that Libby's arm was stretched above her head. Both women were clothed, and the stick and the tree branch formation on these girls was different than the stick and tree branch formations on Abby and Libby, but otherwise it bore a very eerie similarity to the murder scene at Delphi. Ryan Boucher had no knowledge of the actual crime scene. However, after reviewing Brad Holder's social media sites, Boucher was disturbed at that image as well as some other things that provided insight into Holder's fascination with runes. Believing that the disturbing images may be something of interest to those investigating the Delphi murders, Mr. Boucher contacted Toby Lesenby, who at the time was the sheriff of Carroll County. He quickly rebuffed Boucher, telling Boucher that Holder was not a suspect. Undeterred, Mr. Boucher contacted the state police, where he ended up talking to a trooper, Joseph Winters. After their conversation, Winters memorialized the interaction and placed the images provided by Boucher into a Dropbox account. So the sheriff was just gonna, say it's not important, but They're saying that Richard Allen is not um involved. Oh, I didn't even think about that devil, True Detective. Yeah, that it's pretty similar to that, and that was it was out a little bit before then, but you're right. That was like with the sticks and everything. What was your other question, Mal? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. I don't remember, but it wasn't
Okay.
important. I was just killing time while you were looking for that thing.
uh, all right. So then there's another guy named Elvis who was part of their religious group, and he confessed to his sister that he was involved in the murders, even providing his sister intimate crime scene details of which only those present at the crime scene would have my gosh, I can't say it, familiarity. Additionally, Elvis Fields told his sister Mary on February 14th, 2017, that he was present at the killings and that he now had a brother and was now part of a gang. He had been questioned by law enforcement but denied involvement in the murders. However, after being dropped off at his trailer following the questioning, he turned around, walked back to the police car, according to the police report, and asked the state trooper if his spit is found on one of the girls, but he could that if his spit is found on the girls, he could explain it away. Would he still be in trouble? State trooper that heard Elvis utter these words, Kevin Murphy, was not part of the unified command, but immediately relayed Elvis's disturbing question to Jay Harper. Elvis also admitted to a different sister, Joyce, that he had in fact spit on one of the girls. He also told Joyce that he was on a trail and a bridge with two girls that were killed, and he was going away for a long time. And Elvis also said that he put little sticks over Abby's head and made horns because she was a troublemaker, was um which was true. Yeah, I watched that, Devil. I watched True Detective. Like that they canceled it, but I liked it. I watched like I think it was like 2 seasons. But I really liked that show and they ended up canceling it. Um and then his alibi was probably flawed, they said. His roommate concocted a story concerning his whereabouts. His roommate, Rod Abrams, told a story claiming that on the 13th, Rod Abrams, and Elvis and a man named Ned Smith were visiting a sick friend in Muncie. Fortunately for Rod Abrams, this story conflicted with the story that Elvis Fields told law enforcement as to his whereabouts on February 13th. These shady alibis were relayed to Unified Command. These shady alibis will be further explained in the memorandum. And then his sister also passed a polygraph when asked if she were telling the truth about what he confessed to her. All right, let's get to the crime scene. But like they're kind of like the main characters. Brad, this guy Patrick Westfall, who is Brad's um best friend, who lived in Delphi, and then Elvis and Rod were from the Rushville area, and then Johnny Messer, I believe he was like the recruiter guy, and they said that they would recruit people who were kind of like I believe Elvis was kind of maybe like a learning disability or something. Like, they made it seem like he was not that smart, and, they kinda, like, took advantage of him type deal. And then, let me see. I'll go over that afterwards, but I wanna get to the crime scene part. It's a lot.
Yeah, so who are they saying did this then? Because if they're saying that this handful of people that they are within this Odinism,
Yeah.
but that they were ruled out already, then who are they claiming is part of this that did it?
So they don't believe that their alibis were looked into very well. So they believe that
Okay.
the people that were ruled out are still responsible. Like, they think either I mean, the 3 main people that they're implying is Brad, Elvis, and Patrick Westfall. Um, and saying that possibly if Brad wasn't there, then, Elvis may have, like, done his bidding for him type deal.
Right. Okay.
So here's the crime scene. Trigger warning, major trigger warning, just letting y'all know it's very, very, very detailed. Okay, so the scene was ghoulish. Libby was found at the base of a tree with four branches of varying sizes, intentionally placed in a very specific arrangement um, on her naked body. Libby was positioned flat on her back, with her left arm stretched above her head, touching the base of the very large tree. Libby's right hand was covered in blood. Libby's left hand was covered in blood. Blood spots and blood drippings were seen all over Libby's body from head to Libby's right arm was placed alongside of her body. One large tree branch had been placed on her left shoulder. This branch was so long that it extended above her head several feet and below her legs several feet as well. Two smaller branches formed a V where her legs joined her body near the genitalia, with both sides of the V extending upward toward her head, with one branch extending to the left of Libby's head and the other to the right of Libby's head. The last of the four branches extended across Libby's body on a line from her right shoulder to her left shoulder. The fourth tree branch, also connected with the other three branches, was placed under both branches that form the V. Libby's sliced neck was partially covered by this fourth branch. There appeared to be no blood sprayed or dripped onto the leaves or the tree near Libby's head and sliced neck. It appeared likely that Libby had been killed at a nearby tree and then dragged to her final resting place, where then she was positioned before having the tree limbs placed on her in a very specific pattern. Um, where was I? The murderers treated Abby very differently, which I find is a little weird too, because if Abby was um his son's girlfriend, that could be why, you know? Oh, you have a picture to send me? Okay. Um, where was I? Okay. Her body was placed parallel to Libby, but rather at an angle with Abby's legs just a few feet from Libby's legs. So, um, they were parallel, but their legs kind of turn into each other, I guess, kind of like making a V, you know? And
Yeah. Do I sound
oh,
better
okay.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. People were
You were
calling
fine,
out.
like, it was only for, like, a second. You could hear something move, and then I could hear you fine.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of packing as we're doing this, and I had a pack of diapers up against my computer, and it and it was like right on the mic. So sorry.
Um,
And there's Dexter. Dexter says hi.
aw, hi, Dexter. Sarah sent me a picture of, like, how the sticks were placed, so I will, show that in a second once I'm done reading this. But,
Okay.
significant differences existed between how Libby's body was found and how Abby's body was found. Abby was not found at the base of the tree. She was fully clothed. In fact, Abby was dressed in Libby's clothes, like her sweatshirt and her jeans. No blood appeared on Abby's clothing, meaning that she was likely murdered while naked and then dressed by the murderers after she expired and after the blood had stopped spilling from her neck. Abby's hands were clean, no blood. Abby's feet were clean, no blood. Other than the blood found around Abby's neck where the murderers had inflicted the fatal wound, very little, if any, blood was found anywhere else on Abby's body or clothing. The juxtaposition of the spots and streaks of blood found all over Libby's body with the lack of blood on Abby's body and overgarments is stark. The murderers appeared to have gone to great lengths to keep Abby's body and clothing clean from blood. So, I found that strange, and if this is legit, I guess that could be attributed to Um, Abby being Logan's girlfriend. She was found on her back like Libby. However, unlike Libby, Abby's elbows were bent with her right and left arms placed on her chest, Abby's left hand and arm near the left side of her face, and her right hand and arm near the right side of her face. Also, Abby's left leg was straight, while her right leg was bent at the knee. The murderers also placed her bent right leg under her left leg. Like Libby, those involved in the murder had placed tree branches in a very specific pattern on top of Abby. The pattern looks very similar to an assertix consisting of 3 tree branches all joined in the middle. At least one of the tree branches appears to have been cleanly cut by some instrument like an electric saw rather than split or broken by hand, indicating that this was a preconceived plan. Above Abby's head were smaller sticks that had been placed over her hair, crudely mimicking horns or antlers. The amount of blood that would be perhaps expected at a crime scene based upon the location of the injuries of the girls was not visible in the crime scene photos. The defense has provided the court with 12 crime scene and autopsy photographs marked as exhibits confidential to support their paragraphs. Um, Besides the stick formations, there was an unusual marking found at a nearby tree. The symbol looks similar to the letter F, appeared approximately 4 feet above the base of the tree. The F was red in color, and later DNA testing showed that the F had been painted on the tree using Libby's blood as so called paint. Additional blood spatter was found at the base of the same tree. All the blood at the base of the tree appears to have been Libby's blood as well. The defense also provided the court with Exhibit 17 and DNA documentation supporting the fact that Libby's blood was the source of the F painted on the tree. Under Abby's left lower back, a shoe was found. The shoe is believed to be Libby's shoe. Under the shoe, a cell phone was found. Cell phone was later determined to be Libby's phone, and that is where they got the video of Bridge Guy from that phone. And then found between the two girls, buried under the leaves and dirt, was a single bullet, which is the bullet they're saying that is Richard Allen's bullet.
But the bullet was not shot, right? It was
Not
just
shot. It was
taken
like,
out.
yeah, like maybe like to scare them, when they do, uh, like cock it, and maybe it just came out to try and make them think they were serious or something. I don't know, but it was
Right.
unspent.
Right, that's the word, I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, unspent. It should be noted that as of the date of this memo, the defense have no photographs of the bullet found between the girls after it was removed from the ground. No photo or video, for example, shows the bullet as it was being pulled out of the ground. No photo or video of the bullet immediately after it was pulled out of the ground. No video or photograph of all sides of the bullet immediately after it was pulled from the ground. No photographs of the bullet next to the measuring device to show its length. So they're I guess trying to say they're not even sure if the bullet was collected or that they can believe it because they haven't been provided with any of that like evidence. Um duh, duh. And then they try and go on and say that it would be really hard for one single solitary person to do all of this in broad daylight by themselves, without, the girl screaming or trying to get away or alerting someone. So and they're saying that Richard Allen is only 5'4" and that, it would be difficult. They also mentioned that, you know, Abby may have been like hung from a tree to allow the blood to drain and not get on her, and
See,
that is
I
go
heard
ahead.
that, but I can't seem to think that that would be the case because they also claim
They
that
would
there's not a
find
lot of
mark.
blood on her. So, if
Well,
they
that's what they were saying. They think maybe she was like tied to a tree in a way that prevented blood dripping on
but wouldn't
her.
it
Like
still be, like, in her hair and stuff like that?
you would think, or well, I don't know. After someone's dead, would it make marks on her if they tied her with a rope?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, wouldn't there be like marks on her legs from the rope? But would it if she was already dead?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yes, good egg. The defense did claim that Richard Allen's prison guards, there's a few of them that are also Odinist, and
They wear
that
patches, right?
yeah, they wear patches and that they're purposely treating him uh really badly. Um they so there's I guess all right, so Brad Holder, his ex-wife, s- came to police and told them that she had um gone to him one day and told him as a joke that she was going to go on a date with Patrick Westfall, his friend. And that that Brad kind of freaked out and told her like you can't do that. He'll kill you. Um like please don't do that. It's dangerous. Like he's hurt people before. So they like they were saying that, they think maybe Patrick has done other things like you were saying, Mallory.
Right, that would make the most sense.
Yeah, I was saying that too, Good Egg. That does sound kind of out there, like that they would know that these guys like in order for them to treat him badly, they would have to know that these guys like the guards would have to know that these guys killed the kids and be treating him badly because they're trying to frame him? You know what I mean? I don't know. That would mean that this whole group would have to know about these murders. So I just thought that was a little strange. Like I agree with that. That kind of I was like, I don't know about that. But going to I have some pictures that I took of Brad Holder's from Brad Holder's thing that I want to share. So like I did look into like I went on his Facebook. I might be able to just pull up his Facebook. I just don't want to like. Let me see. I feel like it would be easier doing it this way. I don't remember. You know how you can like search somebody's profile for things? How the hell do I do it? Oh my gosh, he's so loud. How do I do that on the computer? All right, never mind. I'm just gonna have to send them to myself. So,
I was gonna say I have
or
no
I can
idea.
go. Because you know how, like, when you're on Facebook on your phone, you can
Yeah, search their profile.
search their profile by words. I was
Yeah.
gonna try doing that, but I'm just gonna go through his pictures so I can show you guys because it shouldn't take me long to get that far just scanning through the pictures. Yeah, same, good egg. Because I do think there is some things that I find um okay, so there's the picture, the painting. So there is some things that I find like believable, like I think it's like I think some of the stuff kind of makes sense, and then other things I'm like I would like to hear an explanation for sure. But I think I might be even too far back at this point. He did make a few posts after they passed saying how bad he felt for his son and that he would have to drive his son to Delphi for the oh, so here's some stuff about runes. All right, I'm in the area now. All right, so this is like his altar. See how Odin, that's in January. So the next month would be Here's another one. Hail
So this
Odin.
is this his dad or
This is Abby's boyfriend's dad,
yeah,
Brad
okay,
Holder.
gotcha.
Um, I'm trying to get closer to February. So you got all right. So I believe this is Patrick. I could be wrong, but I think this is Patrick Westfall. Yeah, I agree. Good egg, especially because they kind of implied that that guy may have had like a yeah. This is Patrick. See, hail Thor, hail the Brotherhood, hail Patrick Westfall. And it kind of seems like Patrick Westfall was kind of like the like leader. And I guess this guy Roger is part of the Brotherhood. Um, but that guy Elvis supposedly like they said kind of it seemed like he had like a learning disability or was a little bit like slow. And if that's the case, then I don't know how I could feel about his confession. You know what I mean? So this is stuff about the runes. These explain all the runes. I forget which one that's the son that was dating Abby, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I forget which rune was I mean, I guess it would be like similar to like the Aryan Brotherhood. Like that's the vibe I get.
So they said something at the beginning though where they were saying that this Odinism was taken over by someone else though, correct? So
By
it's not like
by nationalists.
right. So this is not technically like
This is maybe their version of
okay, right.
Odinism.
Okay.
You know
That
what I
makes
mean?
sense.
Like they kind of like,
Right.
started their little clique and did their own
Their
ways
own
of
little stem off of
Oh,
it. Yeah.
here's the pictures of the runes, so maybe we can figure out which ones are which. Which one would be like the V though? There's the F thing, like Fehu. Possessions won or earned income, luck, abundance, financial strength in the present, near, future, hope of plenty and success, happiness, social success. Reverse, loss of personal property, esteem. I'll find one that looks like a V. Uh, then the other one looked like an Assertix, maybe like Gibo? I don't know. I'll have to look at like a picture of all of them and see if we could.
Figure it out.
All right, so
Ooh,
this is
yeah.
getting yeah, this is getting closer to killings. So this is the day before they were killed. Limitations and experiences. And they were also saying that it could be possible because one of Abby or Libby's mothers were dating a man outside of her race, and that's why they could have been targeted. I believe they do mention that in the thing. Like maybe that's why Libby was, you know, like treated differently, or I don't. I'm not really sure, but like they hint at that.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
then
that's
this
beautiful.
is on Valentine's Day.
Classy.
Right? You can't see. He put up a post on Valentine's Day, but this is only pictures. But I did take a picture of his post, so hold on. Let me. When was that? Oh, shoot! Hold on. How did I lose all this? There is another picture that I wanted to show you guys too, but it was way further back than that. So give me a second. There's a photo of them making runes, and he's literally cutting sticks with a table saw. It's got to be on here. Hold on. There's like the altar. See the pictures of the altar with like there's pictures of the runes. He's writing them out. What the heck is this? It's got to be coming. Oh, I don't want to show somebody's booty.
Why not?
Could be
YouTube loves
wrong.
that.
One lady just showing her whole booty in his photos.
Can't be any worse
Uh,
than the bald head that he just put up there on its own.
yeah, right. They have.
Oh no.
It has to be coming up. It was in December. Like it's not that far back, unless this guy posted. No, is this? Did I pass it?
Could have deleted it. Click on the if you click on the each one, it'll tell you how far down you've gone, date wise. Like if you just click on don't click
Oh
on
yeah.
that one.
Hold on. All right, so September.
Oh gosh.
It will be in December. Wouldn't I be?
No, you'd be going up. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Not crazy. October. So went
Oh my
right over
god.
it.
Do you
This
see
guy
that?
has so many pictures.
Oh my god.
November. All right, we're getting there.
Doubt
I
it.
swear. Here it is. It says cutting runes, and he's cutting the end with a saw, which could
Right.
potentially, be like lined up with whatever. Okay. So then we're gonna go past um I want to find that painting one because I didn't even see the painting one till now. All right, so this is in November. That's his little altar. Here it is. So this is literally 3 days after they were murdered. And he paints this. Which is, I mean, I don't know. It is a little strange, I guess. And the timing is a little strange.
Timing and the fact that they're now saying that potentially that's what they
She
did to
could have
one of
been
them.
hung from a tree. Yeah, because like she was so like clean of blood on her body.
Well, and I just with her having longer hair, there's no way that there wouldn't be blood in her hair if they hung her upside down
Yeah.
because
Unless
they
it was
obviously
like
didn't
in a
wash her hair.
maybe if it was like in a ponytail or something
It still
and
would have like dripped down her face though, and then
yeah.
into her hair. Dexter, stop.
Yeah, they said the only area was on her neck. What is it?
Right. Because I've heard the
I'm
different things
trying.
regarding, like, did all this happen in the creek, and that's why there wasn't a ton of blood.
Yeah. I want to see that picture of the two females um like laying that appeared to like the one they described with like the two females
Not
laying
the
there.
butt.
I haven't seen that one yet. So this is a rune, I guess, or some kind of
Okay. Something along those lines.
yeah. But I haven't seen the two female one. I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. But I'm assuming it was a couple months after. So I'm
Mm.
looking to see. But he does make a few posts, and that's why I wanted to know how to search it because he makes a post. I mean, I can just scroll back, but it'll take me a while. What the heck is that? Maybe his
You said my
doodles?
doodles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Deer Run Trail. So he's in the woods here. I'm wondering if this is close to, like, if
That's a
this is
concrete.
by, yeah,
It's not. Well, there's Deer Run Trail. Was that the bridge?
yeah. No,
No,
this is
a different one.
like a, yeah. Yeah, I mean they do have like there is a lot of, and look, all right, so he does wear a hat similar. I always thought the hat of Bridge Guy looked like this. But a lot of people then were like, maybe it's a baseball hat, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But I always thought it
Yeah,
looked
it
like,
looks like that, like the Scotland paperboy hat.
yeah, like the Newsies, like
Yes.
that's that's what I am at, like that's what I saw.
Yep.
So he does wear that hat often. Um and he dresses in jeans and he does wear Carhartt because they show him. I didn't see a blue one, but I didn't look hard. But he is dressed in a few places where he is wearing Carhartt gear. Um I still don't see that picture of the two women, but what is this? Oh, that's Logan. Yeah, that's the one who dated Abby.
Why is that
He
thing
and
moving?
it's like a 3D thing. Hey, Dallas. It's like, how
Oh,
some people do like those weird 3D photos that make like the person move, but the background doesn't, and it looks so strange.
yeah. Heck.
So the reason why he would go to Delphi every weekend, he supposedly told people that wish I could figure out how to freaking search this post. I don't know how to do it on the computer. I mean, you can see how long it takes me to get there. Because on the computer, I just typed in like runes and things like that, and we're able to. Like, it was so much easier to like shift through it. I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna stop the screen and just we can talk while I scroll down, and then I'll look over and hopefully I'm just gonna scroll wheel my thing. But there is a lot of stuff in there, like specifically, like apparently their thing was that guy Messer or Joey Messer, whatever. He was
Mhm.
the recruiter. He was the recruiter for their team. And Brad Holder told somebody that, he kind of like took advantage of weak men, or, like that guy Elvis. I feel like he kind of maybe had like a learning disability and like wasn't really a smart guy and just wouldn't have fit in type deal. And he would, prey on people like that to like join their crew. And Rod and Elvis lived in Rushville, and Patrick Wheeler was the guy who lived in Delphi. Patrick seemed like the guy who took the religion super serious and kind of like did all the rituals and the sacrifices. So I feel like they heavily are kind of focused on him as being there, and Brad probably because of the connection, and Elvis. And also they think Elvis because of that. I mean, it is kind of weird that he told his sister that he put horns above her head, and
Yeah.
they had no he had no knowledge of the crime scene. So like he told his sister I put horns above her head because she was a troublemaker. So that I was like, oh, that's a little weird that he had that
Yeah.
knowledge.
Do
Um,
you do you see when people gift memberships?
uh,
Like you
I saw
personally?
I no, I don't see it in the chat. I see when people like do the little member for like 10 months, but I can't
Okay.
see when people.
Because Lori just gifted 10 memberships.
Oh, thank you, Lori. Lori be doing that all the time. Thank you. Love you, mom. Um,
I was like, I don't want to like interrupt and say something, but
no,
then
no,
I'm like,
I
I don't think
appreciate it.
you can
Thank
say
you.
it on there or see it on there.
Yeah, I can't see it from mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see super chats, but not memberships. Thank you, Lori. You the best. Oh, I'm almost there. I'm getting there. I'm at 2020, so we getting there,
Whoop, whoop.
guys. um, and then all right, so but Patrick seemed like the guy who took it super seriously, and I kind of wonder if like Patrick was kind of like the ringleader. Um,
Right.
he Brad did tell people that he would go to Patrick's on the weekend, and they would do sacrifices in the woods or rituals in the woods, not sacrifices. Sorry. And he believes that's how Logan met Abby through hey Roll Tide through um you know bringing him down to Delphi and hanging out with Patrick. And I believe Patrick lived about 3 miles from what's it called? Monon High Bridge. So not far. Now, I'm curious if there is a connection to Ron Logan. Like, because I've always wondered how they came up with that spot. Like, was it random or like did they been to that guy's house before and know he has
Right.
like woods in his yard? You know what I mean? Like that. But I feel like we'll never know because
No. Probably not. Not unless for some reason this comes out to be 100% true and more people go down, then I think we may find more out. But if this just ends up being like a claim being made and not a proven fact, then no, I don't think we'll find out.
yeah. But I mean, like it is alarming, the sticks and everything, but I guess somebody could be being like a smartass and trying to make it look like some satanic thing, but I do find that a little bit like strange that it was ritualistic and that
Right.
like I do think that they definitely it creates reasonable doubt. And I'm curious, how they'll respond because I do think it does, create doubt. There's a connection through Abby, which is huge, like that right there, I think, alone will cause questions for sure. Come on. Almost there. It was 2017, right? Yeah. I'm in 2018. This is crazy.
It's
Give me
the
the glass.
dedication.
Yeah, I don't think they have a lot on Richard Allen either. Like, I mean, that we know of. Like, they have the bullet that belonged in his gun, but
If he
um,
admits to being there, what are the odds though that it just was there for other reasons
true,
and it
yeah,
just happens
true,
to be the
true,
wrong spot?
true. Yeah, yeah, that's big too. You're right. I was at like he was there at that exact time. It'd be really crazy if this ended up being true because if this is true, that would mean these girls, like, what are the odds that you have this major predator messaging these girls under some fake name? And then this happens to them and it's unrelated. Like, I still think that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, if Kegan's not related at all, it still blows my mind. Like, it's scary, you know,
Hmm.
that
Well, that just goes to show that in this small little town, how many people are in this small little town in the surrounding areas that have the potential for doing harm on children. And that's
Yeah,
crazy to think about. And it makes you really double think everywhere. Like if that can happen in Delphi where there's potential cult stuff, if there's a potential unaliver, if there's also older men that are pretending to be teenagers on there to meet young, like that's all happening in Delphi. Like,
yeah,
ugh,
yep. Yeah, and how many positions of power are on it as well? Well, it is like I don't know. The more I follow cases, though, the more it doesn't surprise me when the police like hold back evidence that's exculpatory and does things like that because uh, it's like they did this in the Morphew case, or they'll eventually hand it over, but they will just push it off and push it off and push it off as long as possible until they absolutely have to do it. Or it goes to show that, maybe they weren't even going to do it if they didn't know that they were going to end up having to depose this dude. I don't know. It's crazy to me. Like, but it happens more often than you think where, information is takes a very long time to get through to the defense or it's withheld or something like that.
right. And then in between that, there's a ton of other motions and stuff like that that's going to interfere with the time frame as well.
Yep, yeah, yep. Oh, it's finally moving a little bit. All right, let's see. I am at he posted a lot in 2018, y'all. It is really scary to think about. I always say, and I've told this story a million times, but I'm going to tell it again, that if you are ever accidentally caught up in some court case or accused of a crime that you didn't commit, spend the money on a a good lawyer because for instance, I had a friend um who her father and this is on like the ID channel, you can look it up. Her name was Sophia. I can't Sophia something. The guy who was accused, his name was Carl Roosh, and the girl who was killed was Sophia. But this girl, she was kidnapped off her front porch while she was doing her homework, and she was killed. And they blamed the neighbor because he had similar rope and a similar tarp, and they found these purple flakes in his van, which they attributed to this girl's purple nail polish. And they sent it to this crime lab for DNA testing. And the woman who was the DNA tester was so concerned with getting justice that she either tested it and it came back not a match, but she was so sure he was the killer that she said it was a match, or she didn't test it at all. And basically told the prosecution that it was a match. And this guy ended up going to jail for it. And it ended up being a serial killer that killed more girls. And
That's
she ended
crazy.
up getting in trouble for, obviously for doing that. But it's scary to think that your life could be in someone's hands, that someone, that you think, like somebody doing DNA or a cop that would never do something like that, could just hold something back, or because they have tunnel vision. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrifying to me that
Yeah. It should never
you're
be like that. It should be all information out on the table regardless of anything else.
Yep. But I mean, people are human and they form an opinion and this stuff happens and some people have a hard time being objective and it's just I guess if you're in like a small town and that's that maybe, I don't know, but it's crazy to me. Like that blew my mind and it's on the ID channel. They have like a whole story on it. But I was so freaked out by that. So I was like, wow, that scares the crap out of me. Like hopefully this never
Cool.
happens to me. All right.
I
I'm
know.
in 2017
Okay,
February.
cool.
Why can't I find did they take the post down?
Maybe, especially after this came out, it wouldn't surprise me.
So here's what's weird is like I searched his posts yesterday like on my phone and I was able to find posts that I wasn't able to find like see on his wall. Huh.
That's nuts.
And look at this too. Here's another thing like the
You're not
big
sharing your
tree.
screen, remember?
Yeah, I'm about to right now.
Oh, okay.
That big tree thing, like the base at the
Oh,
tree, like they
huh.
do a lot of artwork that has to do with like that's his girlfriend's artwork, I think. But that has to do with like trees.
Yeah. Interesting.
But he had I think I saved the post though. I'm pretty sure I screenshot it so I could just read them. But I wanted to show them because I just feel like showing them. I like to see the stuff. So I went all the way down here to find them and I don't see them. But I screenshotted it so I got y'all. All right. I guess I could send it to myself. So here, I'll send them to myself. Yes, 10 out of 10. Says the file size is too large. All right, I'll send this.
Story of my life.
Right? It's so annoying. Uh, I still haven't seen that like the picture of the girls though. That one I couldn't find. But let
Yeah.
me send these. And then I'll read the post about he comments on the killings and how he feels bad for his son.
Just because he was dating Abby, though, right?
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so we go all right, so this is his post on February 14th, 2017. He posts this and says, "Okay, here's my word of inspiration for today. Today is Thursday, like TYR. The tears of God. I also drew the rune Taiwas and galaxy runes. All this past weekend and the beginning of this week, I've been drawing runes that have to do with giving up the baggage in my life or cutting away the old. What I believe the gods are trying to tell me is sometimes in our lives we have to make sacrifices and it hurts. But like gods made sacrifices to become who they were, so must we. Like a butterfly has to shed his cocoon to become the butterfly, so must we soldier through our hardships to become better." So he kind of like mentions sacrifices, but not in like a bad way, but I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah. But
Like
if that's
sacrifice.
something potentially normal within their
Yeah.
religion-ish thing, then
Yeah. I mean, it could be an absolute nothing burger, but I guess
it is interesting.
combined with the date, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, that's true.
trying to find the one about the girls. And a lot of people there was only people were like messaging him and asking uh asking him if he was the killer. And then, all right, so on February 17th, he said, had to take Logan to Delphi. This should be fun. And that was like 3 days after they died. So I don't know why taking Logan to Delphi would be fun.
Right.
And then he then at February 18th, he says, "Here at the viewing, the line is long. Logan is all upset." Um and then on February 14th, the day I guess they were found, he shares the article that says two missing teen girls may have been found, and he tags his son and says, "Logan Holder, I know you're upset. Keep your head up. Dad is here." Um, and then I sent myself the photo of the thing that he drew on his hand, which I'm gonna show y'all right now.
Regardless of if he's involved in this one, he's still sketchy.
Yeah. Oh, he's totally sketchy. I'll give them that. Like I said, it definitely creates like major reasonable doubt in my mind. You know what I mean? Like for
Mhm.
sure. So, that's the thing he drew on his hand, and he posted that not long after all that happened. Um, let's see. He posts a lot of like songs. I'm curious as to like look up some of them, but uh he posted a post too about being annoyed that people are accusing him of involvement.
Well, then don't be sketchy.
Yeah, I
What
can't
is
find it though. Like I know saw it, but I can't find it now. But I know he posted one. It's gonna drive me crazy trying to find it now. Well, there is one, but I don't know that I screenshotted it. But I swear I did. But I guess I didn't. But there was photos of him wearing Carhartt stuff. He does fit the description of Bridge Guy, like the build, and
right?
he looks um similar to him. So maybe there is something there.
Right.
Um, and then let me see if I miss anything in here. Yeah, they say it would be really, and I do kind of agree with this. I do think it would be pretty difficult for one person to handle those two girls simultaneously without one freaking out, screaming, making noise, like trying to run. Like that did definitely make me wonder, like, how did this guy? I mean, I guess if he had a gun, it would be a lot easier. But still, I don't know.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot to do in the
Yeah.
woods in broad daylight. Like walk them over there, make them get undressed, kill them both, um, possibly put one in a tree, dress the other one up in the other's clothes, leaving everything fairly clean, getting rid of the other clothes, positioning them, gathering the sticks, putting the sticks on there. I mean, it's a lot of like a lot. Like that's a lot to have to do in broad
Yeah.
daylight. Like that blows my mind that all this was done in broad daylight. Because I'm thinking in the mind of like somebody like did you ever do something bad even as a kid and you knew you were doing something bad and you were, like, freaking out trying to, like, get out of the place that you did something bad, you know what I mean? It's like, did these people just, like, calmly stay there for, like, an hour doing all this stuff and not freaking out? Like, I don't
Well, right.
I
Or
don't
like whenever I'm doing something bad, which I don't do things bad that often, but even if I'm doing something bad that's like not actually bad, but I just feel guilty, it's always when, everyone's taking a walk or everyone's at the
Yeah,
store the time that I have to go buy
feel
something
like
embarrassing.
everyone's
Or
watching or
yeah, it's like the time that you go in hoping you don't see anyone is the time that you see
everyone's there.
absolutely everyone that could even possibly know your name.
Like, I
So,
just
I
feel
could
like
never do
they
anything bad.
did they did so much. Like, I would be freaking out if I was somebody doing all that in broad daylight. Like, I wouldn't do it I would be too scared to do it in broad daylight, but yet they just, like
Well, at least so much. It's like at what point during, say it takes an hour, because that's like the time frame. At
I
what
would
point are
say
you
about
like,
an hour,
crap,
yeah.
I hope someone like doesn't
And
walk down the side of the path.
they had so in the autopsy report, they said Abby would have trigger warning, died a very slow death because of a particular artery that was severed up. I guess maybe it was like a smaller one that would take more time for her to bleed out.
Yeah,
But they would have to sit there and just pretty much wait for that to happen before carefully taking her down and dressing her, not getting anything messed up. Like,
right,
I'm curious how long that would take in itself. It sounds pretty sick that I'm even wondering that, but like
right,
for to put a time frame in my mind on like
right.
how
It's more
long
just
that
out of
would
curiosity.
yeah, like how long they would have to be just sitting there waiting for this to happen before they could do anything. It just blows my mind. So they say Odinism, which is closely related to Asatru, was much favored in Nazi Germany. Its Nordic Teutonic mythology was a bedrock belief for the key Third Reich leaders, and it was an integral part of the initiation rites and cosmology of the elite Schutzstaffel SS, which supervised Adolf Hitler's network of death camps. Decades later, Odinism also influenced George Lincoln Rockwell's American Nazi Party. So it gives me like the Aryan Brotherhood vibes, kind of. In addition to the white supremacy component that exists with Odinism, there seems to be an additional dark demonic component to Odinism, at least if articles concerning Odinist human sacrifice and imagery found on the internet, coupled with imagery and language found on Brad Holder's Facebook page, are to be considered. Uh, the painting, Odin hanging from the world tree, seemed to me to border almost a satanic type worshiping, sacrificing. The guy Kevin Murphy said that, the investigator. Uh, Exhibit 30 is an image from a website on onanism of a man hanging upside down from a tree who has been sliced in the neck with blood dripping to the ground. So this is on like an Odinist website. This man's arms are posed similarly to Abby's at the crime scene. The man's legs are posed similarly to Abby's at the crime scene. His left leg is straight and his right leg is bent at the knee. The only difference is that the man's right leg is placed over the left leg, while Abby's right leg was posed under her left leg. Exhibit 31 is an image from a website on Odinism of a man wearing antlers similar to the crude way in which sticks were formed on top of Abby's head, which also resembles a crime scene in that man's left leg is straight, while his right leg is bent at the knee and placed under his left leg, just like Abby was found. These exhibits were also found by that guy Ryan Butcher. Whoever this Ryan Butcher guy, man, he was on it, and he didn't even know about the crime scene.
It's still so crazy to me how so much of this can be accurate towards what was found and then there be nothing behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's definitely it just it does blow my mind that like I would have never imagined that they like it was like this. Like I know they expressed that they were posed and that it was really bad, but like this is not what I imagined. Like I'm like so shocked by it because I was not expecting the crime scene to be anything like this.
See, and I feel like when this first, when this all first happened, there was some, I don't know if it was Reddit posts or on the Facebook groups or something, but someone had stated details about this and not to like this extent, but definitely to the extent of like when I heard this, I was like, oh yeah, I already knew that. But
Yeah.
like not to this extent. So
Not to this extent. Like, I figured they were, like, posed a little weird and the outfits were moved a little weird, but I didn't know, like, the like, I thought that they w and don't be upset with me for saying this, anyone, but I thought maybe the people because they did say sticks and stuff, like, that there were sticks used in certain ways, but I thought somebody had done something gross, like, was messing with them in an essay way, with sticks or something, like
ooh, yeah.
that's how like I thought they were referring to it as. I didn't realize they were like there were weird shapes made with the sticks and you know.
Yeah, I remember them saying it was ritualistic, that there were aspects of this that were ritualistic. Now they didn't say like in like Odinism. They didn't say that. They didn't say anything along those lines, but I do remember them specifically saying like there's ritualistic aspects of this using sticks and this, and I know that there were the original rumors of the potential of someone branding them of some kind and stuff like that, that obviously hasn't been proven, but it did come out at the
Yeah.
very beginning that this was some type of ritualistic kill,
Yeah.
and
I did.
it was before what's his face ever even came into the picture.
Yeah. Yep. Um like hold on, I just seen something that I can't. I totally lost my frame of mind. I had something important I wanted to say and I didn't want to lose it, but oh well, I'll think of it again. But it's I kind of want to like all right, so this is my theory. Maybe there isn't other, kids or anything. If this is true, um I, this could it seems like around the time when he first started his Facebook in 2017, after a few weeks is when he started really getting into the religion stuff. And maybe it was kind of like a Lori Vallow thing, when somebody first starts getting into something and then they meet that, like Patrick Westfall was maybe the fucking potato frog Chad
Right.
Daybell. Like,
Yeah.
compare, sorry, hate Chad Daybell, but maybe Patrick Westphal was like a Chad Daybell and he was like enamored by this guy and then,
Right.
they got really into it and started making their own shit up, like, they're having visions and this, whatever. And maybe it just escalated because they got deeper and deeper into it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm curious to look up with like, even if there isn't anything local going on in that particular area, if there is other stories about Odinists committing murders that have circulated that maybe they've heard of somebody committing a ritual in a different state or something like that, and they're like, oh yeah, we need to do this to show our loyalty to Odin is. You know what I mean? It might be one of them
Right.
things where it just like
Yeah.
they spiraled into this religion and this was like the ultimate thing. Because it seems like it just kind of fell off shortly after that. So I don't know. But somebody was also saying in this paper that it could have been like um a blood in, blood out ritual, which I don't know much about that, but I'm
Okay.
gonna look it up right
I would assume it's kind of just as it states. I don't know what the
now. Yeah,
meaningful behind it would
it's
be,
like
but
if like when you kill. I think it's like when you like to be initiation type thing. Like you gotta kill somebody to like show how
reborn
serious you
or
are.
something? Yeah.
Blood in, blood out is a gang initiation ritual. It refers to the practice of having to kill someone to enter a gang and not be able to leave the gang unless killed. This is a common initiation in many gangs, including prison gangs. So, like, maybe it was one of those things. Like, they took their gang gang affiliation so seriously. They even had a name for it. Like they were called the Vinlanders, I think. Like Vinlandrs. Like that was their crew, were the Vinlanders. Like I feel like it was like some like Aryan Brotherhood gang type deal that they took very
Right.
seriously. They had a recruitment guy. So maybe they were trying to, do the whole gang thing. I don't know. But if that's the case, then I could see, maybe if they never maybe if they had just started getting into the stuff and, got too deep with it and never did anything before, how it came to be, and this was like their initiation into the gang. But
I mean, that's still so crazy though. You'd think that there would have to be more to it to just have it be to this extent. Like,
yeah,
why
no, I
did
agree.
no one
Well,
else that's older be put into um this ritual where they have to do this? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't there potentially be these men that are already within this religion that would have had to have done this for their initiation? Or is the
you
initiation just
think
started
so, but like I feel like it's kind of like they just kind of like made this like
made it up?
created this
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like maybe this guy Patrick was like a little like goofy ass dude that was like, yeah, let's start
Yeah.
doing Odinism.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
from looking at their like Facebooks, you know what I mean? Like that's the vibe they
Yeah.
get. Like
They're
these
like,
like
guess what?
weird
We
guys that are
started this new aspect of it, and to be in it,
yeah.
you have to do this. But he's like making it up himself. I
Yeah.
mean, if you can have the power to get people to believe something like that, and then have the ability to then act on it, that's nuts. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And they did say Richard was there. He was there. He's on camera there. He's
Yeah.
like he was there. He was definitely present at the thing. So it is I don't know. It would be both ways. I like both ways are pretty have pretty good arguments for me. Like I don't know what to think now. Like I do think they have, I think it's big that there's a connection with Abby here and the symbols and everything. And then I also think it's big that Richard was there at that specific time and uh
Right.
so they're trying to say that the guards who work at the prison uh are are these Vinlanders and that they forced him to make a confession to his wife and that they were torturing him and that's why he he looked so frail and crappy like that they made him call his wife and tell his wife, I did this. Like that's what they're trying to say. So I think that's a little crazy, but they're saying the guys wear these patches, and that's why he was so malnourished and mistreated, because these guys are forcing him into they're part of that brotherhood, and they're forcing him to make a confession and treating him like shit.
Right, but you'd think
Excuse
that
me.
that'd be something easy to prove. Wouldn't you be able to go in there and see these patches, like, almost immediately?
Yeah, I would think. I would think so. I
Nuts.
mean, I'm shocked that they even like wear these patches, considering like I don't know. I guess because it sounds like it's like a racist, whatever group, but still,
Yeah.
it's pretty wild. If you haven't read everything, I mean, there's so many pages, I can't go through it all, but there is a lot of very specific evidence, like interviews and things like that. I don't think they put any like I don't think they added the exhibits, but um there is a lot more specific things that I'm gonna have to like go through it and pick each data point out, which I didn't have time to do yet, but
Mhm.
I can do that and pick each like specific data point out, and we can go over it. But yeah, I don't know what to think now, but I am very I I want to see what the response is to this and how they're going to you know debunk it or whatever. But it's
Yeah, to
definitely
see if there's gonna be some type of, like, reasoning behind it, because if they're not able to debunk a lot of this, and there's the potential of one of these investigators lying to get a search warrant or something along those lines, like, that's gonna be a huge
yeah.
aspect of this, whether or not you think Richard Allen did this or not. It's
All
gonna
you have
go
to do is
into
create a shred of doubt in
right.
someone's mind, and this
Well,
is
not
this is
only that,
enough to do that.
yeah, that's my point though. It's like it's not even a shred of doubt that he didn't do it. It's the fact that the cops lied to get him to where he's at today. So what else did they lie about? So how
Yep,
far are they willing to go to get someone behind bars for this?
yep,
That's going to be that doubt. It's not necessarily going to be the did someone else do this? It's going to be like, well, who cares if someone else did this, because however they got to this point was not legal.
yeah. Will B said it is crazy, but guards wearing patches seen by defense attorneys and sworn to under perjury in a court document. Yeah, for sure. Just like Lori and Chad, you can make up crap and convince yourself you're doing something that needs to be done for religious reasons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like these guys like just took this shit too seriously. I mean, you could see in the pictures they got their little altars and their paintings, and they're making runes out of sticks and out in the woods. I mean, obviously they're taking this shit like way too seriously. I mean,
Right.
I'm not trying to knock anyone's religion, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, but like, you can see that they're taking this whole religion very seriously, and running their little clan, and I could see how it may spiral.
Mhm. Definitely.
But anyways, I know you have important things to get done and it's getting late, so I'm gonna call it, but I appreciate you so much for
No, thank you for inviting
coming.
me. I had a great time. I love the work that you do, and I think your heart is in the right place, and I think you do a lot of good hard work. So I'm always willing.
Thank you. Same. I feel the same way. So
Yeah.
whenever you want to talk cases, you let me know, 'cause I'm always down.
Yeah,
Oh, and let me share Mal's link. Hold up. Oh, I
thank
think
you.
I
Yeah.
already put it in. Let me see if I have you on Nightbot. I know I'd put it under Mal, so let me check.
I have to go reschedule mine for tomorrow. I have to do a nice surprise out of town from tomorrow through the middle of next week. Uh so everything is kind of being put on hold, and I'm starting to pack tonight cuz I leave early tomorrow morning, and I'm just glad I was able to make it tonight, cuz at first I was like, shit, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it tonight. And then I was like, nope, I'm doing it, whether I'm packing during it, which I was, but I'm here.
Well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me. I do appreciate it.
Mhm. And, I did have you on Nightbot. I knew I did. I was like, I'm pretty sure it'd be under
Ooh.
Mouth. I did. That's Mal's channel. She's really good. She
Thank you.
gets very detailed like I do and makes her little things like,
Yeah.
uh, sheets and slides and stuff like that. So Mal has a very good channel. Make sure you sub up to her. And thank you all for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, good luck with all your stuff going on, and thank you for
Yeah, thank
making
you.
time.
I'll head out and I'll
All right.
check in with you later. Thank you so much again for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep. No problem.
Bye.
Thank you for coming. Bye. Night, guys. Oh, great Hummer Muffin. Yeah, Mal's really good. I've always appreciated her coverage of cases. So I was like, you know what? She friend requested me the other day on Facebook, even though we've already been talking. And when it popped up, I was like, oh my goodness, you know what? I was about to do Delphi, but I couldn't. So I was like, let me just ask her to come on because I love talking. When something interesting comes out, you just like chatting it up with people. So um, I I was like, yeah, let me ask Mel to come on. Yeah, she is a sweetheart. So, yes, thank you guys for hanging out. I'm gonna go through this and I will pull out every little point by point of evidence. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and do that. And then we can do a live where we like compare, maybe do like, hey LFD, it's okay. You could be replay crew. um, but I'm gonna try and do like, a thing where like, we could do like a side by side. Yeah, I could do a map too. Oh, like a map of the Mona and Highbridge Trail. You want me to do it right now and show you guys? I could show you like real quick before I go. I can't be long because I have to get out, but I will show you a map real quick. Um, but I'll show you like where it went down. Okay, yeah, I'll show you. I've mapped this out already, actually. All right, so the trailhead starts up here, but I'm pretty sure Libby dropped them off right here, like mid trail. Or she might have dropped them off at the trailhead. I can't remember, but this is the trailhead and this is mid trail where you could hop on the trail midway through. And then it goes down or right here it splits. You go this way, like come over here, you could go to the bridge. And they went to the bridge and the video happened on the bridge. They were halfway like out and then that bridge guy kind of like closed in on them and forced them all the way down to the other side. And the bridge is actually freaking really big. Then they get over here and this is where he tells them down the hill. So then they walk down this hill and they cross this creek right here. What's that called? Deer Creek. No way. that was That's the spot I think I was looking at in the picture because the little trailhead said Deer Creek. Oh my gosh, I gotta send this to Mal. Ooh, like I'm having a total mind blown moment. Hold on. Y'all remember that where I was going through his pictures? and there was that trailhead that said Deer Creek, and I was looking at that spot that he took a picture of, and I was like, I wonder if that's the same spot? Hold on. Wow. Can you believe that? Oh my god. I just sent it to her. But look, remember the thing said Deer Creek Trail? And he took that picture and it kind of looked like there was a little bend right there. And I was like, oh my gosh, that kind of looks like the spot where they cross over. So I was trying to like compare it. Because literally that one picture where it comes out, that's why I was like, thinking to myself, that looks like the spot. And of course, when I zoom in, it says Deer Creek, right where the trail, and he had that in the same group of pictures. The trailhead was Deer Creek, so he was over there. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. I wonder if that's the same exact spot in the picture that he took. But anyway, yeah, it's basically they crossed here, right? And then in here was where they were killed. And right here is Ron Logan's property. I actually have photos of this whole area. Somebody sent photos to me. So maybe I'll do a live again at the end of the week and I will show you guys them photos again. I cannot believe that. I wonder if that's the spot. I think I might even screenshotted that. Hold on. I wish I could do like a street view because but you can't do it there because it's not a road. You know what I mean? But like if I could do street view right there, I would have a better idea if that's the same exact spot. Yes, I took a picture of it. Hold on, I'm gonna send it to myself. I'll share it. All right, hold on. Let me share it. Look, in 2020. But like it looks very similar, doesn't it? But this looks a little bit smaller, but maybe it comes in a little bit and goes out again. I don't know. But this is at Deer Creek. But I wonder if right there is where they crossed. That's crazy. Because that was in his pictures. All right. Well, anyway, I'm really going this time, but yeah, we'll do another one. And I'll break down the differences in evidence and we can, do the map and do all that stuff. Yeah, there's a little bit of beach right where they cross, so that's why I was wondering, like, oh man, that looks similar. So maybe, but it's definitely the same, creek where he was hiking. So, all right, guys, good night. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will talk to y'all Probably the third. Oh, about to be Thursday. If I'll try for Friday night. Friday. Unless anything new comes out, like if there's an argument, like the prosecution file stuff. I don't know if they did or not, but I'll check. And if they did, we'll cover that. Thank you, K Race. Thanks for coming. All right, good night, guys. Bye.